Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 5 Tips and Tricks for Careers in Athletics. I'm your host, Dr. Maury Mosovitz, with your all-time, most favorite, most wonderful, most stupendous co-host, Jen Albanese. Hello, Jen.
Hello, Maury. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. How's everybody doing?
We're doing great, and we have a great guy on. Luke Fontanelli is coming in. He was a former intern of mine and now is doing great things as a coordinator at Penn State for facilities and event operations.
I know, that's huge. So much stuff going on there.
Big job, big people, just really an exciting location for him to be at, and really earned his stripes to get there. And he's going to have great insight.
Yes. Excited to hear from Luke. It'll be good.
Yeah. He's always good at telling a story and getting everybody into it. So I'm sure he's going to do the same when we talk to him.
Yes. Can't wait. It'll be good.
Okay. So everyone's probably wondering, why are we wearing this?
Why we're matching.
Well, this is a request of Lucy Mosovitz. She has requested that we wear, because our whole family got sweatsuits, and she said that she wanted us to wear our sweatsuits today for the podcast. So the softness, the heaviness of the sweatsuit is now being put to the test.
I was thrilled. So thank you, Lucy, because, I get a little nervous about what I'm going to wear because I can't repeat outfits. So I was very happy when you said that Lucy made the request that we wear our sweatsuits, because then I'm like, hey, I know what that is. So that's easy for me to throw on. So
yes, because I think all the children wore the sweatsuits to school today.
Oh, yes, of course.
We did not wear them to work. So we just am doing it for the podcast. But
yes,
there was a lot of sweatsuit wearing going on. It was a very exciting, I think the Easter Bunny brought ours.
Yes, the Easter Bunny brought ours as well. So everybody got their sweatsuits, and they're very excited about them. So
yes, the only challenge is you need a little air conditioning in some of them, depending on what's going on.
I literally was just saying that tomorrow before we started. I'm like, I'm already sweating. I had to take my socks off. It's a little. They're very cozy and they're warm, but I don't know we need the warmth just yet.
It's the lights. It's like the light production. It's too much. The lights are coming onto us. It's too bright for that.
Exactly. But they're very comfortable. So, not an ad, but an ad if you want to sponsor us. So it's all good.
I'll cover up our
seriously
thing.
The brand.
I can't see yours as well as I can see mine. Mine's really
over here.
Yeah. Mine really sticks out. I was kind of looking at that when I was looking on the video screen. You can literally see it, unless they want to give us free ones. Then I will expose it all day long, because I will take more of these if they like that.
Every day, totally, absolutely. So yes, we're matching, and if you're watching this, they're very comfortable and nice, and I'm sure we'll be wearing them with our children often. So
at home, I don't know if I'll wear them out all the time, but I will definitely wear them at home.
Yeah, they're definitely cozy to wear at home for sure. But
it's perfect. Well, we got to get to Luke soon, so we won't keep him waiting any longer, and we'll get to him after these messages.
Are you a loyal 5 Tips and Tricks podcast listener? If not, now is the time to start. Get all your info and fun content on the podcast by following us on all our social channels at @AthCareerPod. The 5 Tips and Tricks podcast is a part of Athletic Career Consulting. Make sure to reach out to us. The one-stop shop for everything is our website, www.athcareer.com. Remember, follow and like us on @AthCareerPod, rate and review us, and get all your info at www.athcareer.com. Okay, everybody, welcome back. Maury, would you like to introduce our guest today?
This one's very special for me. From Ivy League arenas to the grandstand of one of college football's most iconic stadiums, from NCAA tournament bids to championship level events execution on the biggest stage in college athletics. Today's guest has built his career at the intersection of sports strategy and the kind of behind-the-scenes leadership that makes game day magic look effortless. He's worked the sidelines and operations at powerhouse programs, helped land NCAA regional hosting bids, and served as a tournament director for events that define the college sports experience. He's logged hours at venues like Beaver Stadium, the Bryce Jordan Center, and the JMA Wireless Dome. And today he calls Rec Hall home, where he oversees everything from wrestling mats to gymnastic floors to volleyball courts as part of the most storied athletic department in the country at Penn State. A former college baseball player and team captain, he led the way way played with preparation, team first culture, and obsession, and delivered first class experience for student athletes and fans alike. He holds a master's degree in sports venue and event management from Syracuse University, and he's been in the rooms of the floors and behind the curtains of some of college athletics' biggest moments. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, the coordinator of athletics and events at Penn State Athletics, Luke Frontale. I can never say it right, but Luke.
No, it was perfect. It was perfect.
That's good. Yay.
Thank you guys
Luke.
thank you guys for letting me join you today. I'm excited to chat with you, and it's also a full circle moment for me because I definitely would not be working in sports if it wasn't for you two. So appreciate all you've ever taught me.
I should throw in there a former intern of mine.
Oh,
and then did a 10-month with us, and then went on to start a great experience at Cornell, and has just gone on to do great things. So we are very excited for you to share your experience and talk about some of the stuff that people really just don't understand about, working in operations and events. So
all the behind the scenes stuff that no one sees.
All the behind the scenes stuff.
No one sees. Except Luke, I do remember when you were the star, when you had to escort one of our coaches out.
Yes. Luke was working for a different institution at the time, and he had to escort off one of our coaches who got ejected from a game.
And now he's famous for that. Every time we talk about that, I'm like, remember when Luke did that? Remember when Luke did that? Yep, I do.
Being from Syracuse, too, didn't help that situation at all. Syracuse, Cornell, huge lacrosse games, and then almost everyone I grew up with watches the game, and then, of course, I have to do that. So some things you don't expect when you work in this industry, that's for sure.
That's what I'm saying. All that behind-the-scenes stuff nobody sees. But
it all comes back.
I love it.
Well, with that, Luke, let's get going on your first tip.
Yeah, so put a bunch of tips and tricks together for you guys. Some of them more kind of focused on facilities and events and that side of the things, and then more just general working in sports tips and tricks. So first one I would definitely say is facility and events focused. Just embracing the unknown, preparing for the unknown. Working in sports, you constantly work in the unknown. I think every event is an unknown, right? You don't know what to expect. You think you've seen it all, and then you see something brand new, like Jen mentioned, that walking someone out, like that's never expected to be the guy whose office was 2 doors down from mine, to have to tell him, I'm sorry, you got to go. The officials told me you got to go. We're not going to continue this game. So just embracing the unknown, because naturally it's a live event, right? You're going to have no idea what to expect, and just making sure you're prepared for those things in the best way possible. Now, when I say prepare for the unknown, it's almost like, how do you prepare for something you don't know? There's little things, right? Sometimes it's something as little as scheduling extra help, anticipating something like someone might not show up, right? Preparing for situations that may sometimes seem like they would never happen, but then the minute it does, it's like everyone looks at you, so you're like, I would figure it out. A good example of that, which I'm sure gives everyone nightmares when you talk about this, is scoreboards, right? Technology. It's a live event. Technology fails all the time, right? You could be on a Zoom call. We saw this during COVID, and your Zoom's gone. What are you going to do, right?
Right.
So something as little as that, right, is having a backup scoreboard, right? Knowing exactly what I'm going to do in those moments that may be unexpected, and then trying to keep a level head. In the facility events world, you always wear that multiple hats per se, right? You touch so many different parts. You touch the marketing side of it, the security side of it, and ultimately you're there to support the student athlete, right? You're making that event for them, making the fans happy, and everyone stays comfortable and safe. Ultimately, that's the main goal. So it's just an impossible industry to predict. So my goal, I always say this, is to put out as many fires as possible, and ultimately not let those fires seep into the crowd, right? I don't want the fans sitting in section 203 all the way up to notice that, oh shoot, scoreboard's not working, or oh shoot, this guy doesn't know what he's doing and this is going wrong, or the floorboards are separating, or whatever it may be, right? As long as I can kind of keep as many eyes off that as possible, and more eyes focused on our student athletes performing what they're there to do, express themselves in their way. That's my main goal in the live event. Ultimately, a lot of things are out of your control. So sometimes things happen that you cannot change, but that's okay.
So Luke, how is that transition from like when you first started as an intern to now, like, how was that for you? Like going to the situation where you're like, I don't know what's going on. How do I deal with this?
Yeah, so I think that's a perfect question because you and Sam, for example, I might mention Sam a few times. He was a former coordinator at Syracuse with Maury, and these two basically, when I came in the industry, I had no clue what the heck I was doing. I was a former Division III athlete. When in Division III, our positions aren't really that much of a thing in many athletic departments. So I didn't even know what the heck it was, right? And then ultimately just watching you two deal with these situations, ultimately just putting my best foot forward and always thinking in the back of my head, like, I'm here for the student athlete, here to support the student athlete, doing whatever I can to make this event happen. And as a former student athlete, I feel like everyone did a great job because I never noticed things go wrong, right?
Right.
So as an intern, you just kind of take as many notes as possible. I'm a huge notes person. So like I remember times where I would sit back and watch Maury and Sam and just take notes on my phone and be like, okay, this is what they did. This is how they dealt with this situation. Someone asked them this question. This is how they responded. All those types of things, right? So I definitely learned that really quick. Also working, my first season was in the fall sports. So outside in Syracuse in the fall is not always ideal, right?
No.
Throws many loops and curveballs and challenges there. So just as an intern, seeing early on how people dealt with these situations really is what helped me. And then ultimately, just the little tips and tricks that I got as an intern were just ways to prevent things from possibly going wrong, how to pivot when something does go wrong, and then ultimately being prepared for the unknown per se.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great.
So good. The unknown. It's just you have to be prepared for anything, and that's really the key there. And trying to stay level headed. I think that is where people like Maury and Sam are such good examples, and Luke, obviously you are too. But like having that level head, because that's the only way you're going to get through it. Because there's definitely things that could set you off. So that's a good one. Good start.
Great start, Luke. What do we got for number 2?
Yeah, so that one actually goes, because you mentioned keeping the level head, right? That goes right into my next tip and trick, which is building and fostering relationships. This is more of a general tip and trick, but I do think it hits home for facilities and events a lot, because as I mentioned before, it's an industry, or this position specifically, working in facilities and events, you work with so many different types of people, right? I'm working with maybe a student intern, right? Someone who doesn't know what they're doing. I'm working with a part-time employee who just they like sports and they want to be an usher for the day or a ticket taker for the day, who's really doesn't maybe not have the best background in the industry, but is there and wants to support and be involved and help out in any way they can, which is always great, right? And then you're dealing with maybe someone who's worked in the athletic department for 40 years, or a coach who is at the top of his game and is seen by many as, the best coach in their specific sport, which I do, and I have worked with some of those coaches. So it's just managing all of those personalities. The level-headedness is key, just building and fostering those relationships, because I can't even tell you. I mean, one thing I say is I got a work phone when I got to Penn State. And I had 0 contacts in my work phone. I was starting from scratch, right? Within 2 weeks, I think I had over 100 contacts. And I was like, This is the definition of facilities and events. You touch every part of it. You touch the SIDs, the marketing, the ticket takers, right? It all falls back to you. So if you can't build and foster those relationships, you're going to struggle. You're going to be behind the 8 ball. You need people to trust you. One, because if they don't trust you, they're not going to come to you and you'll be left out of the loop. Things may go wrong, right? But you just need all those people to come to me and know that I'm that point person when things go wrong, maybe, or just being there to support them. And then a big thing I'm trying to do with my security staff currently at Penn State is just build those relationships so they can trust me. I know where their strengths are, where maybe their weaknesses are, and vice versa. They know where my strengths are and some of my weaknesses are, when they can maybe ask me a question, when maybe they should wait a few seconds till I deal with something and then ask me a question. So just building those relationships. if I wasn't a people person, I don't think I could work in this field. I really don't.
I was just gonna say, like your personality, Luke, is perfect for it because, and I'm not saying like everybody has to be like outgoing and bubbly and like woo all the time, but when you start off with a smile and a good personality and you can connect with people, that's going to help you build that relationship even more and quicker. The example of you started at 0 and in 2 weeks you had 100 contacts is a testament to like your personality and the way that you meet people and how you try to build those relationships right off the bat. So I think that that's really key. And you're right about facilities. It touches everything. I mean, Maury can tell you that every day he's talking to somebody different. Like, you know, it's crazy. So the people person piece is really good. I like
Yeah, and
that
it ultimately, I always tell people this too. It goes back to like what my parents taught me as like when I was growing up, is you treat people how you want to be treated, right?
Treated.
Right.
Exactly.
And that's the ultimate golden rule, right? So, and it applies to my work every single day. I treat maybe the custodian or the student or the high profile coach, I treat them all the same, right?
All the same.
Or
Yep.
maybe my sport that wins 5 national championships, or maybe, and they get 16,000 people at their events, or my sport that gets maybe 1,000 people at an event, all the same, right? I treat all those people the same, and I just try to build relationships, build connections with them, so we can foster that trust and ultimately achieve the same goal, which is putting on a great event for our fans and for our student athletes.
It's funny you say the phone too, because I feel like a lot of times I'll end up calling people because I want to have that like individual connection with them and have a deeper discussion. I mean, you'll text people every once in a while, especially people that you work with a lot and you're really familiar with, but sometimes you just want to have that kind of more direct conversation so that you can make sure that they understand what you're saying, or that there's this more direct conversation, because you'll go back and forth on like an email or a text message and it just doesn't do the same. And if people can hear the inflection in your voice, or even if you can see them in person, it makes a complete difference about building those relationships 100%. And doing those things. And it's 100%. Funny that you're saying like being on your phone, because I think all of us are in the facilities and events field. Like people think that it's just kind of connected to our heads or in our hands, because it's it's constantly working with people and having those conversations. So that's awesome.
Oh yeah. And then also at the same time, right, that's one of your challenges you face every day, is dealing with different personalities. And then for me, I just took this job at Penn State not too long ago, right? Not even knowing who to call sometimes, right? And that's why building those relationships is even more important. Having someone I can rely on. There's a lot of people at Penn State who I relied on early on just to point me in the right direction.
Right.
And then you say who you are, you introduce yourself, and then you have them as a contact, and then you know who you're going to go to time in and time out. And it's, people feel good about that. And I think it's funny, you walk through campus and all these people are saying hi, and they're like, how do you know it? Well, that guy does this, and that's it. Like that's how. Oh
my
works.
God, you can't go anywhere on
can't
campus
avoid
them.
No.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
It's because you've known people, and either you've helped them out or they've helped you, and it's part of how it works. So
exactly, awesome. It's a relationship first industry, especially with facilities and events. That's for sure.
Awesome. Luke, still doing great. You got number 3.
I try. So my third one is a little more event focused. It kind of hits close to home for me because it's really how I kind of started to grow my career and figure out this is what I wanted to do. And it's take opportunities, getting involved with outside events. I know it's kind of generic, right? Take opportunities, but it really is, because the number one thing I say in events world is you could sit in a classroom, or I'm not saying class is invaluable, class is very valuable, but you could sit in a classroom or talk to your boss for hours on end, but there's nothing like working a live event. Working the live event is where you will learn the most, and it's not even close. Like that 2 hours where you are just putting out fires and talking to people, building those relationships, like I mentioned, that is where you will learn the most in the events world. So I definitely think this has helped me grow my career. I've been blessed to have some great opportunities through some of those relationships that I've built. One of those being working at the Battle for Atlantis basketball tournament in the Bahamas. It's such a unique event. And I'll tell you right now, when I first got asked to do it, I was so nervous. I was like, I got to go outside of the country. I don't know anyone there. I don't even know what to pack. I don't know what to do, right? And then all of a sudden I walk into this $1 million resort and I'm like, I have to run a basketball game here? What? And I still don't know anyone, right? But
Right.
I've grown so much from just working those events and just doing random different events, right? When I was a student at Syracuse, getting involved in different events like concerts, work a Red Hot Chili Peppers concert. Like, never thought I would do that, but it's another live event where you just take little things every live event. You watch crowd interactions, and that helps you kind of formulate your plans. And this should be done, this shouldn't be done in a venue, etc. And then at Cornell too, when I was there, it's a 10-month position. So for the 2 months I had off in the summer, and I was like, what am I going to do? Well, sports is a grind sometimes. Some people would be like, I just want to stay I need my 2 months to reset. And I totally get that. Totally. I would encourage you to go out and do something else. Take another opportunity. Yeah. An opportunity I took there is I worked at a youth baseball facility. That was always kind of my dream. It's what I would have, if you asked me what I would have worked in sports when I started, I would have said I want to work in youth baseball. That's changed, and that's okay. But one of the reasons that changed is because I took that opportunity.
And you were like, heck no.
And I was like, that's not for me. I like college athletics.
And that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I tell interns. So we have a huge intern program at Penn State. And that's what I tell them all the time. I'm like, if you don't like changeovers in the facility side of it, that's completely fine. Just come do one changeover and then see what you think.
Yeah.
So
that's when we're in front of a class. I think that's the number one thing.
We say that all the time, and that's
that
so
we talk
smart
about is that it really is good to like get involved and volunteer or get into something and know kind of what you want to do even before the internship, because I think a lot of people might think that the internship is like what's gonna get them to like know, and it can be for some people, but if you have the opportunity to like narrow towards where your interests are and be more selective, it'll just give you another area and like one up and like how you can do stuff. And like you said, there's always opportunities to go and like try other things while you're in these situations.
Oh yeah.
But if you don't get that like hands-on experience, and Jen's probably can speak more to that because I really look at it from facilities and events. Like I think it's critical that you are out there doing it. There's no, but I think across other parts of athletics, it's the same way. Like it is. A theoretical view of it is very different than a hands-on view. And for some good reasons and some bad, like a lot of people have this expectation that facilities or that athletics is like go all the time. And the reality is it's like you have ebbs and flows. Like sometimes it's crazy busy, and then sometimes you're just waiting for the next thing to happen. And some people don't like that like way of dealing with things, at least in the facilities and events world on like a game day.
Oh, definitely.
Like some people just are not expecting that. They think it's going to be a certain way that it's not. And if you're not used to it, if you're not participating in it and understanding it, it's going to be a lot different when you're trying to make that your full-time career.
Yeah, I think people think it's glamorous. Not that there's not moments where it's really cool and glamorous,
of course.
You know, but like I think people have this assumption, whether it's students that are just starting out, like, ooh, I get to wear the suit and I get to stand on the sideline and I show up when the game starts and I hang out and that's it. Like, yeah, that's not even close.
No.
So getting that hands-on experience of working an event, whether it's on the facility side, the marketing side, the athletic communication side, the creative side, the digital side. I mean, there's so many different areas, but like everything requires a little bit of experience to understand what it takes.
Yeah.
And it's never what you actually think it is. So once you do it, that's what helps you, I think. So that hands-on stuff is key across the board, no matter what area you're interested in, I think.
Most definitely. And just working all scopes of events, right? From concerts to sporting events. Like I've mentioned a few times, I was a big baseball person. Did I ever expect myself to work Division I field hockey and enjoy it? No, I didn't. Yeah. But I went out and I said, yeah, sure, I'll work field hockey at Syracuse, and then worked it at every school I've been to, right? Or, you know, thinking you might not like that certain event you
never know.
You never know. So just go out and work the event. I promise you that's where you are going to learn the most you can ever learn. And then to kind of finish that off there is, if you don't change, right? If you don't go out of your comfort zone, make yourself uncomfortable, and take those opportunities, you'll never learn. That's one of the biggest reasons I try to get out and do different opportunities and explore different avenues, different events, events outside the country, small events, big events, all of it, right? You got to make yourself uncomfortable. You'll never learn if you're stagnant. You have to change.
And the reality too is you'll never grow and like advance.
Oh, never.
Like you'll never get to like the next part of where you're going professionally, because you have to build on things. You have to like keep getting to the next thing. You have to challenge yourself. That's part of being in this world of athletics. And so if you're very happy with where you are, then maybe you just focus on that. But if you want to keep getting to the next level and elevating your career, you have to be willing to try things and grow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Hit it right on the head. That was the whole gist of my point right there. So
yeah.
There
Awesome. Okay. Number 4.
Yeah, I struggled with number 4. I bounced a few ideas up and down, but ultimately I landed on making sure you have a diversified your skill set. Now, when I say diversify your skill set, I mean in the facilities and events world, this really hits home. You never know what you're going to do. I've showed up to events and been, I'm just going to sit back. Like Maury said, sometimes you do sit back and you watch. Or sometimes your PA announcer doesn't show up.
If you think that you're going to sit there and do nothing, that is the kiss of death. I'm just putting it out
exactly.
there. Like, so never go and be like, oh, I just really need a relaxing day. This is going to be an easy one. Do not ever put that into the world.
No, it'll turn on you real quick. So just diversifying your skill set, right? Making yourself valuable, making yourself a resource. There's so many different people who want to work in sports, and so many different people have different skills, right? Different areas they focus on. One thing they're good at, one thing maybe they aren't as good at. I think I've found success because I try to diversify my skill set. I can be that guy who does the changeover and does the grunt work and just moves plywood for 4 hours. Sure, that's fine. I can do that. I can also I think I can do a little bit of the tech side of things, right? I've had to deal with DV Sport and video boards and Dectronics and that side of things, right? I think I'm someone who can be called upon when those situations may go awry. Something as little as actually being able to do the scoreboard, right? So like I mentioned, I had showed up to an event, right? And I'd be like, oh, it's going to be a chill day. Well, then my PA announcer doesn't show up. My scoreboard operator doesn't show up. Now I'm the event manager and I'm running the scoreboard and I'm announcing the game. I remember one baseball game I worked, I had to do the pitch clock, announce, and also be the event manager for the facility, making sure the custodian calls me, the parking attendant calls me, right? It's a billion different things. You have to wear so many different hats in this industry that I think making you a diversified skill set will always make you valuable. Like, for example, at the Battle for Atlantis this past year, our shot clock operator had to leave unexpectedly. We had no one to do the shot clock. I just stepped up and said, oh, I'll do it. I've done it before. And I've had my shot clock operator not show up, and I had to do it. So all of a sudden, I'm doing the shot clock for a championship game of the Battle for Atlantis on ESPN, one of the biggest events, right? So I think just being able to diversify my skill set has helped me further my career and put me in situations to succeed, and ultimately led the event go as it should, right? No one noticed that the kid doing shot clock was the first time he's ever done it, right? Or not, it wasn't my first time, but you know what I mean? So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. Luke, you're killing it. We got down to the very last one. Okay, Jen, throw it out there.
Okay. All right, Luke. So the last one. So what do you know now that you wish you knew then? So what do you know now at this point in your career that you wish you knew when you first started?
Yep. So we kind of touched on it a little bit. You mentioned that sometimes students think it's as glamorous. I was definitely one of those students. I worked in sports. I loved sports. I lived, breathed sports all the time, right? It was always what I wanted to do. I remember like an 8th grade career fair, I said I wanted to work in sports. It was always what I wanted to do, but I always thought it was glamorous, right? That I was going to work in sports. And oh, I'll get to meet these cool people and I'll be a part of these awesome events. And yes, it is, right? There's parts of it where it's very rewarding. Um, but especially in the facilities and the event side of it, there's times where it is not glamorous, right? You're doing the dirty work. You're doing things that maybe no one wants to do. Me and Maury have a few of those stories at Syracuse. I have plenty of those stories from Cornell, and then even a few here at Penn State, right? For example, it's not showing up like as an intern. You may think it's just showing up and working the event, and then I go home. That's not even half of it, to be honest with you. So a normal event day, right? You show up 5 hours early, 6 hours early, sometimes even more than 6 hours early, because I'm especially someone who gets nervous on my event days, right? I can't, if I'm not at the facility, I'm like, what's going on at the facility?
Right. What's happening? Right.
So it's not always as glamorous as you think, because, you show up and you do the little things that no one might notice. Just set up random things. I don't know, lights, fog machines, all that crap, all that stuff. And then spending nights, right? The event ends, everyone goes home. Well, I'm still there picking up trash and trying to fix the clogged toilet upstairs, or rolling out the cord, or rolling out the mat, or, cleaning up someone's puke because an athlete just threw up on the bench. But I don't want anyone to see it on TV, so I'm going to get over there and clean it up real quick.
Right.
It's just all those little things that I don't think I ever knew when I was an intern, especially in the facilities and the events world. I always just thought it's an event, right? You show up, you work the event, you go home. No, not even close. Nope. I spend a lot of time in rec hall nowadays. We switch that building over a lot. So, for example, one Friday night, we'll have a men's volleyball game, set up that Terraflex Thursday night, roll that cord out, pull the cord up Friday after the game. Well, we're still not done. Now we got to roll out the wrestling mat, set up the courtside seats for the wrestling mat, roll the wrestling mat out. Still not done. You got to clean and sanitize it. At the same time, you're picking up trash as you walk by it, things like that. And then that ends. Wrestling mat's right down. Switch it right to gymnastics, the beam, the bar, all of it. So it's not as glamorous as you think, but I will say too, that's where I've created some great memories. I've met some awesome people. I've built awesome relationships, and I've ultimately learned so much in those moments, right? The 3 a.m. where you're like, how am I here? You learn so much. That's where you push forward, and then ultimately it makes it so rewarding, right? It makes it all worth it. It's a different side of it, but once you do that grunt work per se, and the event goes full, it goes smooth, like it's such a great feeling when you get home on Sunday at midnight and you're like, wow, like that event touched so many people. These student athletes had the time of their life, won trophies, moments they're going to remember for the rest of their life, and you were part of it. So that's ultimately why I love my job. But a little thing I didn't know when I started my job.
It's so true. It's so true. That's so good.
Luke, it's so impressive to see you doing so well. We're so happy that you're killing it.
We're so proud of you.
We're so happy. And hopefully at some point we'll get down there. We can go to the ice creamery and check out all the facilities and get down to Penn State. So thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you guys. I said it at the beginning, but it really is true. Like I could not have found my way in this industry without these two people, so I can't thank them enough. Syracuse is where I got my start, and I will always love it. Even now when I drive by the facility, I was home this past weekend for Easter, drive by the facility, I'm like, oh, I wonder how Maury's doing. Like, oh, look at that facility, it looks great. Like, because that was one facility when I was an intern was just starting. So to see that come to fruition is awesome too, right? So little things like that
drop by,
make it all worth
but I
it.
wasn't there, so
that's all good. I didn't expect you to be.
I was in Florida, so you would have been in there.
Go.
But anytime you're around, we always love to see you.
Yes.
Awesome.
Well, thank you, Luke, and thanks everybody for listening. Make sure you're following us on all your socials at AthCareerPod and on all the podcast platforms, and rating and reviewing and liking and sharing and all the things. And new episodes drop every Tuesday. So thanks everybody, and thanks Luke. Bye guys.
Thank you guys.
If you like the 5 Tips and Tricks podcast, make sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. You can rate and review us, including questions that may be answered on future episodes. The 5 Tips and Tricks podcast for careers in athletics is part of Athletic Career Consulting. Check us out at www.athcareer.com. Don't forget to follow and like us on your top social media platforms.